Today we are going to talk about a tool called Deming's model. This tool is attributed to Edwards Deming. You might recall Edwards Deming is the guy who taught us about total quality. He is given the credit for the entire concept of total quality, continuous improvement, most of what you know about quality in the manufacturing sector. He had a tool that I use and then I turn it upside down and I take it to a different place. So, his tool was this. He suggested this concept of an unconscious, competent and incompetent. Let us take an example of an individual. Let us say an individual in this box, smack dab in the middle of that box, an unconscious competent. I am sure you have met people like this. They are sickening people, by the way, totally sickening people. I mean, these are the people that they do their job, they get the job done, they don't know how they did it, they don't really work for it, they don't work hard, they don't actually go read a book. No, they don't take a course, they don't read a book, they don't study, but they just do it and it works. You know, they'll run a project, they don't have anything written down. No, nothing written down, they have no plan, they don't have any written plan, they just do the project, it's all in their head. They do the project runs smoothly, everything goes perfect. Sickening people, these people. And then there is the guy here, the conscious competent. Oh, this guy, he reads a book, in fact 2 books, just for good measure. He goes to a course, he goes to a workshop, he figures out, he learns how to do something. When he runs a project, he's got everything written down. He's got a 14-point plan. He knows exactly how he's going to do it. If first I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. He follows the 14-point plan very religiously, one point after the next. He's there working very hard. He's there nights, he's there weekends, he's sweating bullets, he's got PERT charts and Gantt charts and spreadsheets going every which way. He gets the job done too. He gets the job done. Now, and then there are people, same behavior as these individuals, but different results, the people in these boxes. Now, I ask you, if you could simply wish for it, which of those 4 boxes would you like to be in? I'll tell you what, I'll make your job a bit easier. I'll remove 2 of the boxes you probably don't want to be in. So, which of the 2 top boxes would you like to be in? Now, most people would say unconscious competent. I mean, if it comes naturally, if it comes easy without work, why not? Well, what Deming observed was that there's a problem with the guy in this box. See, what Deming said was, if the situation changes, if the job changes, if the environment changes, if the economy changes, the market changes, you know, a 2-competitor marketplace all of a sudden becomes a 5-competitor marketplace. You see, whatever this guy used to do that used to work, in this changed environment, it doesn't work anymore. He doesn't know why. He tried it, it didn't work. He doesn't know why it didn't work. He didn't know why it worked in the first place. He doesn't know why it doesn't work now. He falls from here to here. He doesn't know why it doesn't work. He tells everybody, you know, I've been doing this for 15 years. It's worked for me. Something's changed. He blames the entire world for the changes that have occurred. Now, mind you, the same thing happens to this conscious competent guy. If the situation changes, the job changes, the economy changes, the market changes, a 2-competitor marketplace becomes a 5-competitor marketplace, that guy here, the conscious competent, he falls down here too, no question about it. But he's got a different problem, you see. Remember that 14-point plan this guy had? Well, the first of the 14-point plan might have said to him, write the strengths of the 2 competitors on both sides of the page. Now, what does he do with 5 competitors? He doesn't know. Now, what does this guy do when he doesn't know how to do something? You see, this guy's modus operandi is to go do some research. So, he Googles 5-competitor marketplace. He finds a book. He reads this book. He goes to a course. He goes to a workshop. He slowly but surely learns how to operate in a 5 competitive marketplace, and he starts bootstrapping himself to competency. See, this guy's modus operandi is when he doesn't know how to do something, he goes and learns, gets educated, becomes competent, and slowly but surely he bootstraps himself back into conscious competence. So what Deming said was that he said you cannot build a system, and he was talking about manufacturing systems. He said you cannot build a complex system on the assumption that every piece of the system will be an unconscious competent, because someday, somewhere, someplace, some piece is going to become an unconscious incompetent, and the whole system will fail. So he says to build a complex system, you've got to make every piece of the system a conscious competent. Now, I take that argument and I turn it on its head. I claim that people, individuals, leaders like yourself, you cannot operate your life on the assumption that you will be an unconscious competent in everything that you do, because someday, somewhere, someplace, someday, you're going to find you are an unconscious incompetent. So you have to be a conscious competent in everything that you do. Now, it might be that you are a conscious competent, but you do this so often that you operate somewhat unconsciously. You operate here, but you are in fact a conscious competent. Let me give you a great example. We all learned to drive a car a long time ago. When we learned to drive a car, our driving instructor told us, no coffee in your hands while driving, no radio blaring music, no cell phone talking. I don't know about you guys, when I learned to drive a car, there was no cell phone then. But then one day, some vested authority on one particular day declared us a competent driver and gave us a driver's license. On that day, we were probably a conscious competent. But as days, months, and years have gone by, most of us on a daily basis when we drive as an unconscious competent. Have you ever traveled to another country where they drive on the other side of the road, rented a car at the airport, and pulled out? How did that feel? I bet there was no coffee in your hands on that day while driving. I bet there was no radio blaring music. I bet there was no cell phone talking going on. You see, you move from here to not even up to here. You move to about there. And you slowly, living in that environment, over time you become fully competent, and in fact, if you live there long enough, you can even move back here. But unlike the driving example, there was no particular day, there was no vested authority that declared you a competent leader. To the extent you are a competent leader, you are probably an unconscious competent leader. What the leadership agenda does is it forces you to become a conscious competent leader. What the leadership agenda does is it forces you not only to become a conscious competent leader, but to do so in an intentional way, in the way you wish to be a leader. And unlike the driving example, where it is only occasionally that you travel to another country where they drive on the other side of the road, in the leadership case, every day of your life you see situations that are new and different. So you don't even have the luxury of operating somewhat unconsciously for fear that one of those new and different situations come along and you will fall down to an unconscious incompetent. So you have to stay a conscious competent. What the leadership agenda does is it not only forces you to become a conscious competent, to do so in an intentional way, but on those occasions when a new and different thing comes along and you fall down to become a conscious incompetent, it gives you a tool to bootstrap yourself back up there. the power of a leadership agenda is immense. What Deming's model says is everything you do in your life, including the act of being a leader, do it intentionally. Be the leader you want to be. Do everything in life intentionally. Be a conscious competent in whatever it is you do. The Deming's model. Be a conscious competent in everything that you want to do.